Hi guys, Keith Tharkenberg Farms, and today we're going to be showing you my SOP for growing pea shoot microgreens. So before we start, here is our final product. After harvesting, we have nice, beautiful pea shoots. So this video is going to be a twofold. I'm not only going to show you the SOP to do it, I'm also going to run a trial at the same time to show you the difference that some products can have throughout the process. So I'll turn you around and show you what we got of all of the equipment that we're going to need for growing these microgreens. To start out, we need our flat to grow them. 1020 slits in the bottom. Also I've got a 1020 with no slits in the bottom. That will be my growing tray. We slide them together. Next, peas. Using speckled green peas, if I remember right. We need a scale and a container. Then we also need, this is what I soak in. They're, I don't know, 5-quart, 10-quart Tupperware dishes. I burned a bunch of holes in the bottom of this one, so that's my strainer tray. I drop it down in the other tray. So I soak them in here, and then all I have to do is pull this out, and they drain, and they go right into the flat. Other than that, we've got Ultra from AgriGro, which has proven to be a very, very useful product in kicking up the yield, but we'll do that in the trial and show you. I also have my 855 fertilizer, which I do not have up here to show you, and then we've got our growing medium, which is ProMix BX, because that is the one I have left. I trialed out all the soils in the same fashion. I'm going to show you the trials right now. I also have some measuring devices. I've got a little 50 milliliter pipette and a 2-liter jug. Well, 2-quart, 2-liter, whatever you want to call it. So that is the basics of what we need to grow these things. So to grow these microgreens, it is a 10-day process, including 1 day of soak time. So, since we are also doing a trial while we're doing this, we're going to use the scientific method. We're going to test a couple different situations here. To start, we have our control, which will just be soaking in water, no fertilizer. This one will be soaking in water, and I will add fertilizer below the soil medium when we make up the trays. This one will have Ultra in the soaking solution, but no fertilizer in the tray. This one will have Ultra and the fertilizer in the tray. So for each of these, I'm going to add 2 liters of water. So there's nothing super exact. We're using liters, which is actually 2 quarts, because my pipette's in milliliters, and that'll determine the concentration of the Ultra solution we're doing. So we'll repeat that and fill up all 4 trays. Now they're all filled, and these last 2 trays here, we're going to add the Ultra. I'm just using a 50 milliliter pipette because I have them. They're super handy. Just taking up about all the way full. So 50 milliliters to 2 liters, stir that around, is about a 40-to-1 solution, is what I figured out. And that just happens to be what I used when I trialed this the first time, because I had this nifty guy here. I actually use this and do, I believe it's 1 squirt per gallon. I've got the recipe right there. Next we add 11 3/4 ounces of peas per tray. So we'll go to right about 11.7. There we go. And then we add that to our soaking solution. We'll repeat for the other 3 trays. Now that I've got all 4 filled up in their individual containers, the only reason I'm doing individual containers is for the trial. Remember that. I usually put 2 trays worth of peas in each container with the 2 liters of water. But now I came down to my microgreen room here. Look up Ultimate Microgreen Room on my channel or YouTube, and you should be able to find it. It's actually my old walk-in. That thing's got a cool bot on it right there. I don't have it on there right now. I'm just using it as an air conditioner to keep this room climate controlled. It stays at a constant 75 degrees. Yeah, not gonna work for me. And it's about 77% humidity in here. That'll go down a little bit because the humidifier wasn't on. It'll go back up against once we start growing. So, next step is I let these soak for overnight to 24 hours. It'll probably be about 24 hours before I get back to them. And then we will drain them and go ahead and throw them in some trays. So, each of our seeds have been soaking roughly 24 hours, somewhere in there. So now we're over here in the propagation greenhouse where we have all of our starts at. And I've got my potting table, my potting soil right here. This is ProMix BX. This is actually one of the best ones I've found for doing microgreens. So from here, I'm gonna fill up these trays. We use 1 scoop out of a big coffee can, 53 ounces, and it's about a gallon. But we just basically come in and get a scoop, dump it in each tray. Now, if it's not completely full, there's some chunks you gotta break up. I'll move it around a little bit and then add, you know, just a little bit more. I mean, this is about the most unscientific part of the process, but I know kind of what I'm looking for in these trays. And basically, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna fill up the rest of these. Now that we have roughly the same amount of soil in all of these, we're gonna start to water them in. The dirt that we're using is extremely hydrophobic to start with, so we have to slowly add the water on. We'll make 2 passes and then wait. Now while we wait is a good time to start draining our seed. That's what this double container with the holes drilled in it is great for, because all the water pours right through it. Just sit it on diagonally and wait. And we'll do the same with each of those. As you can see, they're just starting to swell. There are nothing with a tail popping out yet, which I find to be best when it's time to plant these. So we'll wait another couple of minutes and then we'll go back over the soil and hit it again. So there are 2 main secrets to the way I grow microgreens. One is using Ultra to soak the seeds in, and the other is I grind up my 855 in a coffee grinder, and then I use a 1 teaspoon of it and spread it across the tray. So I just lightly dust the bottom of the tray, kind of get it scattered around like that. And I'll do that for my Ultra and fertilizer, and then just my fertilizer only. The rest will remain just soil, and then we'll get to filling them up. Now that we got our dirt saturated, we take our seed and just kind of sprinkle it over the top. I typically do 2 of them, so I pour it and I use the rest in whichever place it needs. I just kind of take my hand in a cup, just kind of move the seeds around. We're not looking for anything too awful special here. I'm just trying to get them spread around. Much like that. When we're right there, we're done and ready to stack. So I'll move on to the other 3. Now that they're all spread out and each flat is labeled, we just stack them. Typically, I don't stack them with the bottoms on them. I just stack them with the vented flats on top of each other. But since I'm trying to isolate each of these, I'm going to keep them all with their own flats. Usually I'll just use one of the spare ones, put it on top. What I'm going to do this time, put it on top, and then we'll take it over to the room and we'll put our weight on and ready to wait until they start to germinate. So now we're back in our climate control room again. 73, 67%. It'll start to climb once we start to get stuff out on the trays. Here's where the magic happens. Concrete block, I don't know, 1.5 inches by 8 by 16, just regular split paper, whatever you want to call it. We take this bad boy, which I wrapped with aluminum foil because I was worried about mold issues last year, and we plop it on the top, just like that. This will remain like this until the tray is left apart. We'll come out and check each day, but what we're not going to do is unstack them, because if we unstack them, they like to lift, and then when you put it back down, they can get crushed and crunched, which could make the results vary a little bit. So for right now, we're just going to run like this, and we'll be back out, and let's see, we uncover on Saturday. Today's Wednesday, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days before we uncover. Maybe Sunday. We'll have to check and just kind of see. We'll see when they start to pick up. I believe Sunday's when I've been doing it. It's my microgreen wall with all my information, all my cool charts, all my craziness, all my other things where I'm tracking yields and everything else. So, yeah. Keep doing this for the next couple days and we'll get these things growing. Day 2, stacked, and you can see they are already starting to spread apart, because this was the top originally. So this is the 3rd day stacked. They will come out tomorrow and go underneath the lights. So here you go. They are almost fully off of each other. It's time to take them apart before they fall over. They're already starting to lean. So we're going to take them and we're going to load them onto the rack here underneath 3 blue Barina LED lights, and that's what we'll be growing underneath. Them on the rack, no particular order, whatever way they come off, and then we will not water them until tomorrow. At that time, we will water with 32 ounces of water in each of them each day. So, we've got the Ultra and FERT, we got the FERT, we just got the Ultra, and we got the Control. So here we go. I've got this timer set on. It looks like it's about 14 on. Would that be 8 off? No, 6 off? 6 on? No, 14. Yeah, numbers. So, yeah, about 14 hours sunlight on. I think you can go less. That's just having to be with the rack set right now. I'll also use this for germinating starts in here and growing stuff during the winter. Look up indoor growing rack on my channel. You can see all about this. Okay, first day uncovered on the rack. We'll come back tomorrow and water. The lights do a weird thing to the camera, so we'll get a little bit of graininess out of this, but we can look right now. They're just barely above the rim. It's been 24 hours after uncovering. The next day, we give them each 1 cup of water. This is a 32-ounce cup. We will repeat this every day until they are finished. This is the 2nd day uncovered. Not much of a difference between any of these at this point in time. So I get some weird effects with the light, but pretty much they're all about the same height. It looks like this one's just a little bit lower, but they're actually just because they've got a little bit of S-turn in them. So again, going to water 1 cup each, and we will come back and check on them tomorrow. So we are on the 3rd day uncovered. Definitely see a little bit of difference as you go down them. Control's actually the tallest, but that really doesn't mean anything at this point, because we'll check yields when we're done, and that'll be the foolproof. Again, 1 cup of water in each, and then we will harvest tomorrow. All right, so here's the final product. We uncovered these 4 days ago, watered them 3 times. I'd water them again if I was going to hold them and store them in the walk-in. But for now, we're going to take them up and harvest them and see what the totals are. So, brought them up here to the pack house, and here's our final result. I'm kind of placing them in the order I believe will be the yielding. So we'll start with the control. And this one just has fertilizer. This one just has ultra no fertilizer, and then we've got ultra and fertilizer. So we will cut these, which I'll show you here in a second. And look at the totals. I mean, they're all kind of have a crinkle in the middle of them, but that is because of my grow rack. I need to move it up a notch. But I also find that only the outsides really get stretched. These stay nice and compact. I can actually throw these things in my walk-in for 2 to 3 weeks and they do not get too overly stretched. Like this one up here that's been up here for 2 weeks. Still looks great, nice and green. That's not overstretched. But we'll get out there and harvest what we've got. So now it's time for harvest. What I prefer to use, these squarish produce knives that are ceramic blades. I found the ceramic blades actually cause less browning on the microgreens themselves. We use these until they're dull, and then you buy new ones. This one's actually really nice, it fits my hands. We have other ones around, but this is just the one I prefer. So for harvesting, it's pretty simple. You go in, like, see if I'll get this, I might have to turn you back around and get a better view of it. But you go in, you pull back, and you make clean swipes right off the end. Then you gather up what you got, just like that. Place it in the tray, all facing the same direction. So there we go right there. We're working to try to do this in 3 swipes across the tray. We'll go back in again, cutting right about the seed level. Careful not to cut our thumb off on that last one. And again, gather it up, place them in here. Again, all facing the same direction. Makes them way easier to pack when you do that. Same thing here on this last cut. Doesn't quite look like we got quite all of it, but we got the majority of it. Again, bunch of greens. Lay them out flat. And the last little bit, go through and grab and just make single cuts. And we'll gather what's on the table, simply because I want to get totals for each of these. So I'm going to take that, I've already got this zeroed out, we'll put it on the scale and we'll see what our total is. Meantime, I'm going to turn you around and show you the cutting from the backside so you can really see how you cut through it. So here's the cutting through the other side. I take my hand, keeping my thumb up, and then cut quick motions. I usually do 2 or 3 across, and then I pull and I gather as I go. So I have a nice clump of microgreens there, and then I place them in my tote, all facing the same direction. We'll come in here again, do the same thing, and we're cutting right about rim height on these because we have the 2-inch trays. And I find I don't lose all that much yield when I do it this way. And I turn it around for the last cut. I will tell you, when you leave them in the walk-in for a couple days to a week, they do stretch just a little bit more. I don't think it really affects the yield all that much, but they do get a little bit taller. So these are actually what people are wanting because they have nice short stalks. They're not stringy, and they're super delicious this way. So I'll keep harvesting and come back to you with the totals. Now the last step in the procedure is packaging. We use a 4x2x10 gusseted bag from Uline. The reason why we lay everything in here nice and flat is because we can come through and just grab an individual bunch, put it on the scales. We're looking for 2 ounces. We sell them in a 2-ounce bag. And literally, I've done this enough that I'm that good. That's a 2-ounce bag. We then grab them, take the cut ends down, put them into the top of the bag. Quick little tug down, which drops them into the bag. We do a little pinch on top, grab it real quick, give it a twist. Now we have a nice little bag with air. We come over to our bag sealer, run it through. Nice little packed bag with air. Then we use our labels, which we print these out on our Rollo printer. You can check out the video on that. Best thermal printer ever. Take our label. I usually do them 2 at a time. I'll stack them all the way across the table. Just lay them down there, and I'll go back through and pat them down. Give it a tap. We'll also come back through and put a lot coat on the bottom so we know which lot they came from. But that right there is our final product. 2 ounces, we sell it for $4. We get 20 ounces per tray, so that's $80 per tray. I always figure about $20 per tray labor and materials, so $20 profit per tray. Don't overgrow them because you can lose money very quickly on that. Now before we go to the numbers, I just want to show you the root mats that each of these have developed through the time compared to what they actually have in them. I've noticed this in the past, and especially it becomes really dominant after they've set in the walk-in for about 3 or 4 days. So this is our control. Got a nice root mat. Not bad. I mean, I kind of destroyed the edge of it there just a little bit when pulling it. But then there's the one with fertilizer in it. So control had nothing, just pea shoots. Fertilizer, a little bit better. The yield's better. I always expect that. Then this one has no fertilizer and just ultra. I mean, I kind of dinged it up there, but I mean, just kind of looking at the height of each of them, they're about the same. I don't really see much difference. From here, you can kind of see that the control's a little bit shorter, just a little bit. And then we finally come over to the one that's got the ultra and the fertilizer in it. And I mean, you can just see the thickness of the mat. It's actually much thicker than this one. And this will actually get to the point, this is how I noticed it originally when I was doing my trials. They sat in there for a week. This one actually grew up to the rim where the other ones were still down about 1 inch. So now we'll go over to the numbers, take a look at them, and show you the final results. So here are the final numbers from our trial. Control, lowest, and then it worked its way up kind of like I thought. The fertilizer did great. The ultra did just a little bit better, and the ultra plus fertilizer did a lot better. I mean, from here to here, we gained 1 bag per tray. Not a huge number, but if you're doing a lot of trays, it really starts to add up. When you actually look at the percentages, it's completely different. Of course, we're comparing these to the control, so there's none extra here. But I mean, for the fertilizer alone, we gained 10%. That's pretty darn good with just adding, what's that, a teaspoon of fertilizer to the bottom of our tray. The ultra, 17%, which is also great. But then when we jump up to the ultra and the fertilizer, we gain 22%, which is 3%, well no, 5% more yield from here to here. Not a huge number when you just do 4 trays a week, or like I do 2 trays a week. But if you're doing large scale, I mean, these numbers can add up quick. I mean, from just using seed to adding just fertilizer, you can gain 10% per tray. That's a great output increase. Using both ultra and fertilizer, that's 20-some%. I mean, that is great. A lot of people try to push that much more yield out of blocks and cannot. So that's just a simple way that I've found that produces better quality, tastier microgreens as far as I'm concerned. It might just be in my head, but the ones that I've used ultra in have the higher root mass, and to me they actually taste sweeter. So these long-term videos like this where I've been shooting since last, let's see, Tuesday, and now it's Thursday a week later, it takes a lot of memory more than anything, because I got to remember to actually shoot it every day instead of just doing it because it's all, you know, second nature to actually do it. But I mean, the end result is you get good instructional videos, which this is an SOP for my farm, and you all are more than welcome to use it too. You can train your employees with this. This is a standard operating procedure, which is SOP, and it works great. This is the way I've found it to work best on my farm. We do everything indoors because I find that we get more of a reliable product, and the timetable is always exactly the same. Outdoors it varies. But also, I mean, like this, now I've got a mountain of microgreens here, which I usually only grow 2 trays. So these might just be on sale this week. The other great thing about using the ceramic knives and with pea shoots in general, with that you have a much longer shelf life. I mean, I can leave these things sit in the totes for 2 weeks before I even package them. I can leave a full tray in the walk-in for 3 weeks before even cutting them, and then have another 2 weeks to sell them. So pea shoots are great for that. Also, more than anything, hope you all learned something today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all. Have a good day. Oh, and I just wanted to add real quick, Luke over with AgriGro, great company. He's a great guy. Actually, when I made my first order for this stuff, he actually called me up that day and told me that they were running a sale and gave me a discount code, canceled my order, and had me reorder it to actually save money. He actually sent me this hat because I told him I was going to do this video, and this shirt, which was pretty awesome too. So thank you, Luke. I appreciate it. I'll be getting a hold of you, send you the link to this. So thank y'all. Have a good day.